What up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode 25 of AC Reviews the World. I am your host, AC the Engineer. Let's give it up applause for that. Yes, we have made it to episode 25. 25, and it's August 5th, 2025. And you already know it's around 6 a.m. Early bird catches the worm, so get up, have a good time. And let's go over some of the viral news things that's going on this week and see what we think about it. And like always, we got to review the world together. So let's go ahead. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Hey, and just let's talk about it. Let's discuss all the facts. If you disagree with anything I said, go ahead and let's comment about it. Come on, let's think about it. And let's have a good discussion. That's the main thing with all this stuff. Let's make sure we have a good discussion about everything. So, hey. Now, we got a wide variety of topics today. Not just crime news. We got some stuff talking about just job market in general, after college, stuff that I seen that we wanted to talk about. Different. And we definitely got to talk about crime because, crime is always happening. Every single day, a new crazy story is coming out that, hey, we just need to review and talk about it. That's the main thing. But without further ado, the first thing we'll get into today is Lil Tay. Now, if you don't remember who Lil Tay is, hey, don't worry about it because we got a little video to jog your memory. So let's jump right over into that. And hey, let's see who she is. If you don't remember who she is.
Lil Tay woke up, it felt like a beautiful day, but Lil Tay rich, bitch.
No, y'all remember that? This was probably like 8 years ago now. You got to think back to your memory. If you don't remember her, little girl, always thinking she was rich and all that good old stuff. And then just let's see some images of her. So we can get the full picture. Some of this will jog your memory. Let's see. You remember Lil Tay, got the holding the money, all the good things. Yeah, she was going crazy about 8 years ago now. So thing we're going to talk about today that everybody's talking about is that when she turned 18, she made an OF account. Yes, an OF account right when she turned 18, the minute afterwards. And she said something in her announcement, but I will say the first thing, there's some sick people in this world now. She made $1 million. Yes, $1 million in 3 hours? She made $1 million in 3 hours after she started her OF account. 1 minute after she turned 18. So we'll get into this video. She said something during this that I was shocked by. And I don't know if she was just trolling or what, but I want to talk about it. I want to see what your thoughts are. So let's jump right into this and see what she was talking about. What made me so disturbed. But let's get right over into this.
Y'all already know what the fuck going on. We just broke the link record with the youngest link of the century. $1 million in a couple hours. I'm still the youngest one doing it. For all the grown-ass haters who've been hating since I was 9 years old, look at me now. What y'all got to say? Y'all been doubting me for 7 years. You can hate on me all you want. You can't say Lil Tay ain't winning. So for everybody out there, do whatever the hell you want with your life. Who gives a fuck what people have to say? And remember this, Lil Tay rich and finna get richer.
Oh yeah, and thank you to all my supporters who have pre-ordered since 2018 or whenever you did.
All right, so you heard what she said, right? Let's go. Thank you to all of her supporters who pre-ordered since 2018. I don't know if she was trolling or not, but let's do some math here. Let's do some math here. She just turned 18, and she said that some sickos been pre-ordering or requesting her OnlyFans, her OF account, or her creating OF account since 2018. It is 2025 now. 2025. So that is 7 years. So if my math is right now, I'm an engineer, so I think my math is right. That's 11 years old. 11 years old. Grown men. Well, we're assuming grown men. We're assuming. But been asking her to create an OF account to show off her body starting at 11 years old. There are some sick people in this world. Sick people. You mean to tell me that people were requesting her to make an OF account since 11? 11. Nah, I need to see that order history if that is real, because them people need to be locked up. If they're grown men, they need to be locked up. If they are grown men, well, hold on. So let's think about this now, because OF didn't get popping until a few years ago. So I don't know if it was OF, but that's a crazy statement. Pre-ordering since 2018 when she was 11. She happy about it. But like I said, she made $1 million in 3 hours. Now we're going to look at a report by TMZ and see a little deep dive into this where they break down how much money she made. So we'll get right into that and see what it's talking about. All right. Let's get right into the article. Let's get it. Lil Tay just turned 18. No wasting any time. Into adulthood, launched her OnlyFans. The rapper pulled a whopping $1,024,298.09. Now, this is, like I said, this is 3 hours after she launched her platform, appearing to beat the Bad Baby. Now, y'all remember when Bad Baby did it? If you remember the Catch Me Outside girl who was on Dr. Phil, yes, she beat her record. Oh no. Oh yeah, she beat her record because she made it in 6 hours, right when she turned 18. But let's see. Subscriptions. $500,000 in subscriptions. Messages, 486,000, and then 26,000 in tips. But Tate insisted that she was inspired by sex-positive celebrities like Sydney Sweeney, Sabrina Carpenter, sharing her empowerment. So that's.
Has been Sabrina Carpenter and Sydney Sweeney. They are literally my top inspirations, and honestly, for anybody that doesn't like them and shitting on them and doesn't think they're inspirational,
you need to check your misogyny.
They're getting
So much backlash, but just think about the beginning of any revolution. Like, this is reminiscent of the time that women were fighting to vote, because why are we fighting to be free to express ourselves? Everybody out there,
every girl out there should see Sabrina Carpenter and Sydney Sweeney as their inspirations.
they're the ones that are bringing women forward into 3025. And for everybody saying that they're bringing women back 100 years, you're just hating. You don't want women to be able to express themselves. But that's why I'm going to take a stand. I'm going to be the youngest one
To stand behind Sabrina and Sydney, and I'm gonna drop this link.
So make sure to turn on notifications.
So she's been saying this, I think, a couple of months right before she was turning 18, talking about she was going to drop the link. And these sick people were going for it. It was going for it, ready for it. She referenced the controversial new American Eagle campaign that they was talking about. Now, still concerns are swirling on whether she may upload content before she was legally aged or whether she was truly 18. A source tells Team OnlyFans is a strictly 18 plus content. All creators go through an extensive identification before they are able to upload content. So Yeah, that is what's been going on around. People are disgusting. Like I said, after 1 minute after she turned 18, she joined OnlyFans, and then she made $1 million in 3 hours. There's some sick people in this world. Golly, people are nasty. But like everybody's been talking about that, so we had to bring it up. We had to talk about it and see what your thoughts are. And then the whole pre-ordering since 2018 thing spun me. I wasn't ready for that. I was not ready for that. Absolutely crazy. But that was that little quick announcement that we wanted to talk about, just to, because I've seen that going crazy yesterday, and I just had to bring it up. But like I said, let's get into some of the real topics we want to talk about today. Some of the topics I had scheduled. So let's get right over into that. The next thing we're going to be looking at, so let me see. You always got to make sure I understand what we're going through. So the next thing we're looking at is, let's see. Next thing, the job market. So yes, we got to talk about the job market. And they're saying it's getting hard after college. It's getting harder and harder to find a job. So let's get right over into that video. And let's see what our thoughts are. And see if we agree with it. That's the main thing. Let's see what they're talking about.
NBC News senior policy reporter Shannon Pettypiece has been talking to some of them, looking into this. Shannon, I'm hearing it in my real life from college grads all the time. What did these young people tell you about their job searches?
Yeah, I mean, NBC News, we heard from more than 100 recent graduates, and among them, a really dire picture emerged. You noted some of those examples. One woman we talked to had applied to 1,000 jobs and had only gotten 2 interviews. Those who were working said they had to switch fields altogether. They were taking entry-level jobs, making half of what they had expected. And some, even with what you would think would be in-demand degrees like computer science or degrees related to business or finance, couldn't find anything, couldn't even find retail entry-level jobs. And they're struggling. They're living back at home with their parents. They're spending down their savings. Here's a little bit more of what we heard from a couple of them.
I am 26 years old. I told myself by 26, I would have my own house. I would have my own family. I would have my nice little luxury car. That hasn't happened. And at first, I did kind of beat myself up for it, but you know what? It's like the world's changing.
I'm almost 27. Like, if the next job I have, I want it to be my career. I feel like if I go for something like Walmart or McDonald's, which is the type of jobs there is around here right now, that I just wasted all that time in my life for nothing.
All right, so let's break down a little bit of what he said. So he said that he doesn't want to go for the Walmart, McDonald's jobs because he wants to be in his career. Now, I don't know what his career is, but if you got to get a job, you got to get it. That's my thinking. If you got to get a job, don't matter what the job is, you got to do it. Come on now. Let's be adults now. If you can't find the job that you want, you got to take the job you can get. It's as simple as that. You got to find some way to make some money. Work as many hours as you can while also still applying to the job that you want. You can't be out here just just waiting to find the perfect job. No, you got to jump right into it and take the job that's the ones you can find. I mean, that's as simple as I think. But my real question is, they said that computer science and different majors like that. Now, some of these people, you might disagree with it, but some people choose the wrong major. They think the major is going to be popping. They think that they choose it based on their likes and not their potential earnings. Or they choose it based on how they feel. And yeah, some of the stuff is just not going to make money. We got to be honest about it. But they saying computer science jobs are not getting hired. So, I mean, you still can advance yourself to find a more hireable inside of that field, like going into cybersecurity, other stuff like that, still computer related. I know there's a lot of cybersecurity jobs out there. A lot of AI jobs coming out. So I feel like there are jobs around. They just don't want to do them. That is the real question. Are there jobs there around that they can definitely find a job? It's just they don't want to do the job. Now, if you can't find the perfect job, then go to a trade. There's a lot of trades out there. We need a lot of air conditioning workers. We need a lot of welders. There are jobs they can get, jobs that are always hiring, that make plenty of good money. It's just not going to be the job that you desire. Now, here's a question. Do they think they're too good for those jobs? Or do they, hey, if I couldn't find a job right out of college, if my internship didn't hire me on, I'm taking any job I could have gotten. But I'm still going to be applying for the main job that I want and working it. I'm going to, if I got to, I'm going to go pick up trash. They are always hiring trash employees. I don't care about the job. You can't care about, if you have no job, you cannot be picky. That's my thing. You cannot be picky. Do what you got to do. Last thing you need is to run up more debt. And then you got to, move back in with your parents. Don't feel bad about it. That one girl was talking about, she was thinking she was going to have a luxury car, her own house at 26. That's unrealistic for most people nowadays. Get you a home, an apartment where you're renting out with some of your college friends. That's what I did for a while. I'm still doing that. I bought me a house and I'm renting it out with my college friend. Renting out a room to my college friend, saving money. You have to do that. That's what you got to do. Hey, don't be picky now. If you got to get a job, get a job.
And the data backs this up. You mentioned that slow jobs report that we saw on Friday. Well, when you dig into that number and you look at just recent college graduates, the unemployment rate has been ticking up. And that gap between the unemployment rate of recent college graduates and college graduates as a whole is
hold on, we got to break this. June unemployment rates. Recent college graduates aged 22 to 27, 4.8%. Out of 100? That's not crazy high to me, though. I might be, because it's out of 100% now. So 95% of people are getting jobs out of college. Does not seem bad to me. Young workers, 22. So this is people who I'm assuming didn't go to college. 7.4%. That's higher. Yeah, you got to go into a trade. All college graduates. 2.7%. Now these numbers aren't that big to me. I might be wrong, but out of 100%, all workers 4%.
Widening. So there are definitely signs of stress. And economists I talked to out there, they said there's a number of factors. There was a lot of hiring the past few years, but there's also a lot of uncertainty in the economy right now that has employers pulling back, whether it's uncertainty about AI or uncertainty about tariff policy. They're just not adding jobs. And those who are trying to get into the job market, like recent college graduates, are really bearing the brunt of that.
We think now, I will say, like we talked about this before. AI is going to take away some jobs, but at the end of the day, it's going to offer some jobs as well. So you're going to have to get in where you fit in. And at the end of the day, the newer college people who are going into college need to choose a major that can last. A lot of engineering majors are easily to find a job after college. I haven't heard where engineers are struggling to find a job, especially right out of college. They are happy to hire because they want to see you grow and they grow into the company. You have to pick a major that will make you some money. Let's be honest about it. You have to pick a major that's going to make you some money. Don't get no African studies degree. Don't get no communication degree. You can't go to college just trying to have a good time. The whole point of college is to go to a higher education and to get a higher end job. That is the simplest fact. The simplest fact. Because we spend too much money. You take out too many student loans to get this higher. You can't do it for no stupid degree. There are some stupid degrees out there that will make you no money. Now, if you're fine with making very little money, then then take the degree. Do what you want to do and enjoy it. But you're going to have to work hard if you want to make more money. And how the times are going, you need to make more money. It's just simple as that. I don't see why people have a hard time figuring that out. I do not see why they have a hard time figuring that out. Golly. Now tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts. Am I wrong? Am I wrong? Yeah. So okay. See, you've been watching. You probably been watching Anton Daniels now. You probably been watching Anton Daniels. An underwater basket weaving degree. Exactly. They are not hitting no more. The government jobs, they are already cutting government jobs. Those small diversity, equity, inclusion jobs. I'm sorry. Like, it was a good time for when Biden was in office. They was making a lot of money, but no, they cannot do it. It's not working no more. So you have to choose a career path that is going to last into the future. That was my main thinking. What job is something combines what I like to do and that can sustain me into the future? And that is what engineering led me to. I like math. I like solving problems. Boom. Simple as that. I chose engineering. I was thinking architecture at first. See, maybe FBA queen. Some people just. I hate this. Well, no, I don't hate to say it. Some people either aren't taught that or simply taught that and are just stupid and don't heed the lessons that their previous predecessors have taught them or spoke to them. I mean, we gotta be blunt about it. I'm not gonna feel bad when you chose a stupid degree. I can't feel bad when you chose a stupid degree. Now, if you chose a degree and you're still not you chose a good degree and you're still not not able to find a job, then you got to take the job you can get. Don't even, I don't want to hear no complaining. Take a job you can get, but still apply for the job that you want. You have to make some money. Keep working. Get the bag and then just work. You have to do it. It is not the economy where you can just be lazy and be like, oh, no, I'm not trying to work at McDonald's. Hey, work at McDonald's. Work through, become a manager, become a franchise owner. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. If your major isn't hitting, do what you got to do. If you spend all that money on college, you got to go to a trade school if it ain't working. Get you a welding degree, get you an air conditioning degree, HVAC, something. Plumbers make amazing money. I hate calling the plumber because they always charge me crazy. But that is my little rant, but that is what I was thinking. And so tell me if I'm wrong. But leave me your comments. And Jesus, people just need to get to it. People need to get to it. Trades. Yes, like I said, trades are the easiest way. It's not going to be easy, but it's one of the surefire ways to get a good money and sustainable money, because there are always going to be trades that people need. HVAC. Oh, there's a lot of opportunity for plumbing, but some people say they too good for those jobs, but they just going to be broke. That's all I'm going to say. They just going to be broke. They are just going to be broke. But like I said, let me know your thoughts. And tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Now, if you feel something different, that's always your right. But absolutely crazy. I just had to bring that up because it's what I was thinking. I saw that and I was just like, And then they was talking about the percentages. The percentages didn't even look that bad. Now, they were saying like 40% of people are not finding jobs. Oh, that's crazy. That is crazy. But like I said, tell me your thoughts. Now we're going to pivot. We're going to pivot over into, so I seen this video. A police officer was exposed during a traffic stop to some fentanyl, and she needed to be Narcan. It was bad. So let's get right over into that video and see what it's talking about.
Dramatic body cam footage revealing the moment a South Carolina deputy collapses after being exposed to fentanyl during a traffic stop.
Narcan. I need Narcan.
Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
Narcan.
Where is it?
In my car. Why do you want Narcan?
Give me a minute.
I need Narcan.
Give me a minute.
She asking why you need Narcan, because she's about to own it.
I got you. LT, I got you.
Our next guest served as an undercover narcotics officer with NYPD. Former NYPD Lieutenant Darren Porcher joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. I've watched that video now like 17 times, and every time, even that time, my heart just starts racing. What could they have done better about that situation?
Well, when we speak to the hypervigilance of us as common police officers, you always want to have that Narcan in close proximity. It's just unfortunate that fentanyl is now impacting on common citizens as well as law enforcement and first responders. So fortunately, the officer was able to direct her partner as to where the Narcan was.
So where do you normally keep it in your car? Do you keep it like in the glove box? Is it in the, where is it usually? Well,
you have a preference. It can either be on your person or in your vehicle. I think my preference would be to have it on your person. Right. And when we look at how fentanyl is impacting this country, this stuff is coming in from the northern border, meaning Canada, the southern border from Mexico. I think the administration is doing a lot to go against these countries because this is something that hasn't been done in a long time. When I say something that hasn't been done in a long time, meaning there has been no repercussions for these countries that have been allowing these violent, I should say violent, but drugs like fentanyl to come into the United States.
So explain exactly how this happens. So a cop is doing a routine stop and literally just touched something. And
okay, so we'll stop for a second. Yes, this day and age, man, with all the fentanyl and the traffic stops, you gotta be careful. Officers have to be careful because it's so deadly. You never know what someone can do. Oh my God, you should yes, exactly. You should have it on your belt. You should have it on your person, to be honest. If you're going through, especially there's so many drug addicts and people addicted to fentanyl and using it that once exposed, it can be horribly deadly to you. Horribly deadly. You should have it on your person and be prepared. Fentanyl is such a nasty and deadly drug. Who's ever selling it, like I say all the time, who's ever selling it needs to be put under the jail. And I'm happy that they're stopping the flow of fentanyl because a lot of the fentanyl is being, everything I've seen and all the research I've done on fentanyl is the majority of the bad fentanyl, the fentanyl that's not used in hospitals, the fentanyl that's mixed with like cocaine and all these other different crazy drugs are being brought in from different countries. It's not being, now it could be produced here, but the majority of it is being brought in from different countries. I don't understand why people aren't more upset about this. This is an absolutely crazy, like one hit can send you into an overdose. That Baltimore mass overdose to the video that I did that blew up. That was a fentanyl mixed with other drugs. It had Freon and antifreeze when they tested it. Absolutely crazy. Let's keep going into this video.
It comes through the skin.
1 grain of fentanyl can kill you.
Oh my
You know,
God.
that's how dangerous this stuff is. Right, it is. And we need to do more to keep this stuff out of this country. But at the same token, you have to have that Narcan on your person to ensure that you can keep yourself safe or someone that you're looking to assist safe.
So when you say 1 grain, meaning it can be like on the back of a piece of paper, or it can be in a bag, and if you and in this case, I think that the officer was wearing rubber gloves, somehow or another got affected by it despite that.
There's a multitude of ways that it can be ingested. And I give you an example. Back in 2023 here in the city of New York, there was a child daycare center and a child literally touched the fentanyl, just touched it.
Like a piece of paper that had fentanyl on it.
No, it was stored on a counter, I believe. And the kid died. And this is a toddler. Right. And so it begs the question of how this stuff can get to you.
They got to be in jail.
But the truth of the matter is just merely touching it, that would consist of being an ingestion that can kill someone.
And then, of course, if it gets airborne some way, just inhaling it. And if you don't have that Narcan, it can kill you like that.
Yeah, oh, if it's airborne, I mean, it can affect anybody. And when we look at the situation here, it's just a travesty that happened to this officer that was a first responder. But luckily and fortunately, the Narcan was readily accessible.
Amen. Darren Portrait, thank you so much.
Now, I remember, hold on, we got to look, because I remember we looked at it before on a different video, but we got to pull it up again. Fentanyl versus medical fentanyl, DES. So fentanyl, let's see. Let's go, where is that at? So deadly. There it is. Oh, look at this. So we'll go through this like always. We got to look at it. Some things we got to look at. So this part is what really, where is it at? 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal depending on the person's body size, tolerance, and past usage. The DEA has found counterfeit pills range from 0.02 to 5.1 milligrams, more than double the lethal dose. They said 42% of pills that were tested for fentanyl contained 2 milligrams. 2 milligrams of fentanyl considered to be potentially lethal. Fentanyl is a horrible drug. Horrible and deadly drug. God, people. And this officer, all because, we got to back that up, son. Like,
person or in your vehicle, I think
17 times. And
where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
In my car. Why are you not?
all because she was exposed during a traffic stop of a drug addict.
I need Narcan.
All because she was exposed at a traffic stop from a drug addict. She had to take, she almost passed out and collapsed. And she had to get her partner to get her some Narcan. Absolutely crazy. There is no way. Officers need to be careful. And who's ever doing it, or who's ever selling it, needs to be locked behind bars. And the people who are addicted to it need to get help. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now, that was that video that we wanted to see. I just saw that night. We had to talk about it. There's no way that it should be going down like this. There is absolutely no reason that fentanyl, that you should be exposed to it. And this is my state, South Carolina. Absolutely crazy. Like I said, tell me your thoughts. How do you feel about fentanyl? What do you think should happen to the people who create it? You think they should be under the jail like I do? And what about the people who use fentanyl? Now, we need to get, of course, we got to get them some help. But if someone constantly doing something that's bad for them and don't want to receive help. Now, I remember Trump was talking about homeless people who are drug addicts, or homeless people, some of the homeless people that he wanted to, I don't know if I can't remember. It was talking about helping to curb the homeless population and the drug epidemic is forced rehabilitation. Now, is that right? Is that wrong? Tell me your thoughts. I don't know. But something has to be done. Something has to be done. Because this is out of control. And they just mentioned back in 2023, a toddler just touched it on the counter and died? Crazy. There is no way. Whoever was that daycare professional, nah, he's in jail for life. That is crazy. Fentanyl around kids? Kids? Nah, crazy. Get up out of here. Get up out of here. Golly. Now, like I said, let me know your comments on that, but that was absolutely wild and we had to talk about it. Now, we're going to pivot now. So this is about a jail now. So somehow, some way, an inmate, the wrong inmate, was released. And people got fired because of it, which is not surprising at all. But hey, it's a video that I found interesting, and I wanted to bring it up with everybody. So let's get right into it and see what it's talking about.
Parish Sheriff's some breaking news. The Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office says it fired 2 deputies and suspended 5 others over the mistaken release of inmate Khalil Bryan.
Gabby Killett joins us with the Sheriff's Office's response.
And so now we are hearing that the Sheriff's Office is laying out a timeline of this mistaken release involving inmate Khalil Bryan. Now, they're saying that Bryan was released at 1:17 Friday morning and that jail workers didn't realize their mistake until 10 hours later. Now, that's despite a 5 a.m. head count and a 7 a.m. roll call. OPSO says it started searching for Bryan around 11:30 that morning and started informing other law enforcement agencies around 12:45. That's
we have to break down the timeline. We have to break down. So at 1:17 a.m., he was released by accident. Now, they said they didn't realize it until 11:10. After a 5 a.m., did they say 5 and 6 or 5 and 10? Whatever, they had 2 roll calls and they didn't notice it. That's already, you are already fired after that. Then they finally began to search at 11:36. Now, he's already had, 10 hours? 10 hours to be up out the way. I don't know, but I'm never going to be planning to be in jail. And if I already done the time, I'm not going to escape, depending on if I got life for some reason. I mean, I can't see but 10 hours? You remember those inmates who escaped from New Orleans? One dude is still on the loose today. 10 hours is enough to get up out the way. I promise you. 10 hours is enough. 10 hours is enough time to get up out the way. Then agencies were finally notified at 12:45, and then the public was notified not until 3:45. I wonder how dangerous he was now.
It's more than an hour later.
Inside job. I can see inside job. Yeah.
Told us that Chief Ann Kirkpatrick didn't find out about the mistaken release until around 3 o'clock that afternoon. And a source says that state police didn't find out until close to 3:30. So the Sheriff's Office says it did notify the public at 3:45, but we didn't get an email until 3:51. And that was more than 4 hours later after the mistaken release was discovered. And the Sheriff's Office says that delay is because it has a duty to weigh the risk to public safety before starting public alerts. And it didn't want to send Bryan into hiding before checking his known addresses. OPSO says Khalil Bryan was not an immediate threat to the public and was in custody on primarily nonviolent charges. Our own investigation found that Bryan was convicted of violent charges and had a warrant out for aggravated assault from Orleans Parish Criminal District Court. The Sheriff's Office says that Bryan had already bonded out for his violent charges, but was still being held for nonviolent charges. And the Sheriff's Office says it terminated 2 deputies for severe breach of duty and process and suspended 5 for alleged negligence. Now, it says it's also implementing new procedures to prevent more mistaken releases like that of inmate Khalil Bryan. Now, this is Gabby Killett reporting. Fox.
Now, come on. Now, let's. How do you accidentally release someone? Aren't there checks? Don't they have their numbers? Don't they have a photo? Something. Did they think that he looks too similar to another black man? Was that the reason? I could see it being an inside job. Yes, I could definitely see it being an inside job. But this is absolutely crazy to me. I don't understand how someone can accidentally release. Did they ever catch? Yes, they caught 9 of them. There's still one more on the release. I mentioned that a little while earlier. There's still one more from the New Orleans or Louisiana, I think it was, New Orleans inmates escape. There's still one more. And it's been how long? So we'll see how long he gets, because I think he's still out now. He's still gone. Still gone now. Yes, exactly. The procedures should be reviewed. The procedures for whatever happened. There needs to be a systematic review of what happened. How did this happen? Where were the checks? Who is responsible for the roll call? They said there was 2 roll calls now. How do you end up now, unless the inmate was helping him, but how do you miss inmate being gone after 2 roll calls? Nah, somebody was either helping him or that whole system is messed up, and it's right for them to be fired. Well, it was already right for them to be fired, but nah, something is crazy. Yeah. Not yet. Says 9 of them have been captured, 1 more on the loose back in New Orleans, and we're gonna wait until. And I think the one who's now, don't quote me on this, but we'll have to do our own research. But the one that's left on the loose was charged with murder. I can't remember if he was murdered a cop or whatever, but don't quote me on this. I can't remember the last time I looked up that. But go do your research. Now look at this. These are people. Oh my God, people. The jail system is already messed up to begin with. There are things that happen in the jail that should not be happening. We need more prison guards, but no one wants to be a prison guard because that's a dirty job now. I've heard stories of prison guards where they end up getting feces and urine thrown on them. That is absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. And they don't get paid enough, just like most officers don't get paid enough to be risking. Police officers definitely, because they be risking their lives. But absolutely crazy. Yes, we got to have some checks. There's something went wrong. Something went wrong with the system. Either somebody was helping them, and if they was helping them, they're going to jail. Going to jail. And I never understood why you would risk your freedom helping someone like that. Absolutely crazy. Now, yes, we have to be honest. There are innocent people who are thrown in jail, but there are criminals who are thrown in jail. So we have to do better care of investigating crimes. We have to. But falsely accusing is a thing. We got to be aware of that. There's plenty of time, especially people getting out years later because they finally felt guilty of what they lied about. And absolutely crazy. So many different crimes that somebody can lie on you about and you get thrown in jail. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe. And people can be very cold. People can be very cold. There's so many jails that have are horrible institutions that they're systematically flawed. From the jail guards to the person over the top, the warrant, the warner, who is that called? Y'all know what I'm trying to say. The captain over it, the whole person who's over the jail. We be hearing a lot of stories about the jail. That's how most of them get it. Either someone from the outside sneaks in a drug, and some of the drugs they sneak in is crazy. I just did a video a few weeks ago about an inmate who wasn't a female inmate who was not searched properly. She was not searched properly. And she ended up sneaking fentanyl in her. We know where to spot in her box. She ended up, yes. Okay. That's how you say it. Now she ended up sneaking fentanyl in her box. I'm not going to say the word. And ended up accidentally killing another inmate because of an overdose. And she is being charged with murder because she snuck it in. And then we got to think of the guards. The guards help out too. They'll help. And then I'll be hearing a lot of stories about female guards sleeping with inmates. Now that is wild. That is absolutely wild. Now, ladies, tell me, ladies, do y'all have a thing for the man behind bars? Is that the only men that are attractive now? Is the men behind bars? Absolutely crazy. And there's got to be a lot of checks now. There's going to have to be a lot of checks. People are going to have to lose their job because a jail is supposed to be a place where we send the criminals who can't be with us in society. And if you just releasing them, what's the point? What is the point? Now, like I said, like I always said, tell me your thoughts on what we just talked about. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree? And do you think he has some inside help? Do you think he has some inside help? Godly, people are crazy. Absolutely crazy. Now we're gonna pivot. We got a lot of things to talk about today. A good couple of stories to talk about today. So this next topic, now this, as a homeowner, hit me close to home because I couldn't imagine. So somehow, some way, some people, a family is suing because somehow a forged home deed, yes, I said a forged home deed, ended up making them lose their home. Absolutely wild, but let's jump right over into that and see what it's talking about.
Big change, Brad, thank you. A Walton County family says someone stole the deed to their home and then sold it at auction, and now they're in a legal battle to get it back. Channel 2 investigative reporter Ashley Lincoln is live with how it happened and why no one has been held criminally responsible.
Yeah, Linda, the family tells me that they tried to warn that mortgage company that that deed was allegedly forged before the sale of this property went through. And now that it has, the family tells me they're taking legal action against this company.
I want my home back.
It's a battle James
So they
and
lost
Lucretia
it?
Culkin have been fighting for more than 5 years.
It's heart-wrenching. This is the only place that I've ever called home.
In 2019, the couple says they started receiving letters claiming thousands were owed on a reverse mortgage. After James was appointed power of attorney over his late grandmother's property, they began looking closer at the paperwork. That's when they discovered James's name had been forged on the warranty deed. The couple filed a complaint with the Walton County Sheriff's Office, but investigators ultimately told them it was a civil matter. The Culkins then hired a handwriting expert who confirmed that the signature on the deed did not match James's real handwriting.
And it accumulated us losing our home because of forged documents.
By then,
all right, hold on, I gotta stop it. You know, I don't like to stop it too much, but I am a law-abiding citizen, but how are you gonna get me up out of my home? Nah, bro, I don't. Crazy. There's no way.
It was too late. The forged deed had already been notarized by a closing attorney and a witness the couple says they never met. The home was foreclosed on due to the reverse mortgage. The Culkins were eventually evicted.
All of the forgery and all of the signatures was stamped on September the 23rd of 2017.
The Culkins filed a lawsuit against Maverick Land Company LLC, which bought the home at auction. They say Maverick moved forward with the purchase even after they informed them the mortgage documents were forged. James says the company later offered more than $300,000 to settle and avoid litigation, but he refused.
None of this can happen unless you have someone in a power and authority to stamp on paperwork, to push it through the system.
And according to that Walton County Sheriff's Office investigative summary, that closing attorney was set to testify, claiming that she saw James sign that document. That's something he has denied. And we did find out that that closing attorney never testified during that hearing. Now, the Culkins, they have started
back that up a little bit. Did they say that he testified? Hold on.
Summary, that closing attorney was set to testify, claiming that she saw James sign that document. That's
oh yeah, she
something
lying.
He has denied, and we did find out that that closing attorney never testified during that hearing. Now, the Culkins, they have started a fundraising account to help raise legal fees because they're representing themselves in the court. Now, we did reach out to the Maverick Land Company for a statement. The closing, them and the closing attorney has not responded.
Hold on. So this video came out a week ago. This video came out a week ago. So you mean to tell me this? They said 2019? They can't be still fighting. There is no way that they've lost their home that long. You know we got to do some research because that is crazy. Let the focus come back in. You know they have to do. I got to do some research. Hold on. That's something we got to figure out because there is no way. Let's see. Hold on. There is no way. Let's see what this one's talking about. James and Lucretia has spent the past 5 years fighting this. There is no way. Oh my God, 5 years? Reverse mortgages are falling out of favor. Oh my God. So they've been battling this for 5 years. What do you say? This is why I told my cousin to keep the deed on the grandmother's land in the safe. Yes, you have to keep your documents safe. Please keep your documents safe. Because how do you? Oh my God! You fight to keep your home for 5 years, so you can't be in your home for 5 years. Nah, bro. Scam. Now this is back in. They said 5 years, and scams are only getting more elaborate. Y'all got to think about that. Scams are getting more elaborate every day with the help of technology, the help of new communication system, the AI. Oh my God, scams are getting more elaborate, and it's harder to tell if it's a scam or not. Now, in this case, yes, it looks like it was the company didn't care. They was notified that this is a false deed. All parties were notified that this was a forged deed, and it sounds like they just didn't care. Absolutely crazy. These scammers are absolutely crazy. I will never agree with taking someone's hard-earned stuff. Thieves, scammers. You know how that messes up your life? Someone stealing your identity? Anything like that, stealing your information, robbing your bank account? All these things tremendously affect your life. And they don't care. Y'all got to understand, people do not care that this is going to ruin your life. It's not going. Well, I can't say ruin your life, but it's going to severely affect your life. Severely. I mentioned this before. So one of my coworkers, golly, he was being. I got to be honest. He was being dumb. He ended up leaving his phone unlocked at the bar while he was drunk. And you know what they did? They went in there. For some reason, he didn't have passwords on his banking apps. Went in there and drained it. 30-40K. Luckily, he was able to get it back with insurance, but that whole headache, wife upset, can't imagine. It's hard to live in a house if your wife is upset. She over here straightening the credit cards off. The credit cards ain't nothing paying. Absolutely wild. Now here's a question. How they getting you out the house? Because if they come trying to evict you, honestly, I am never an advocate of losing your sanity or losing your composure. But if you're telling me that all this happened because someone forged my signature, and I have proof that they forged my signature and it's not my signature, and I've been telling them constantly that this is not right. When they come, I might show my butt. I'm sorry. I might lose my composure if they come in there and they forcefully take me out of my home after I've constantly told them that it's wrong. I have my deed right here. Oh my God. Life lock. Yes, you got to get some kind of security on your stuff because oh my God, you got to be careful. You truly. Oh my God. Like I said, I am a very strong advocate about not losing your composure for any person. Any person, you should not lose your composure. But I can't see me remaining sane and not showing out after something like this happens. My home? No, absolutely crazy. Somebody's gonna hear it, bro. I'm outside the sheriff's office. Yes, I'm outside the sheriff's office every day. Matter of fact, I might set up a tent on the street outside. If I can't be on the property, I'm on the street in a tent sitting there. Nah, anybody who come to look at the house, I'm showing out. You are not selling this house. I'm gonna have a lot of charges. Well, I'm gonna have a lot of charges. But like I said, tell me your thoughts. I saw that 5 years of fighting is crazy. 5 years of fighting is absolutely crazy. Dang. Now we got to pivot. We got to pivot a little something harder. A little something harder to hear. So, a man was killed. Yes, a man was killed right outside of his church. I said it right. A man was killed right outside of his church while he was going to the parking lot trying to get some barbecue. But right outside his church. But let's jump right over into that and see what's happening.
We begin with new details about the man shot and killed in Seattle's University District last night. An entire church community is shaken by this sudden loss, but investigators are making progress in bringing the shooting suspect to justice. Fox 13's Frankie Thompson joining me now. Frankie, this is the city's 23rd homicide just this year.
Yes, Sabira, the lead pastor of Pursuit Pacific Northwest has identified the shooting victim as 28-year-old LeBron Javon. The pastor says LeBron is a devoted husband and loving father of a young son. He was walking to this church to a parking lot to a barbecue with his family when he was shot and killed.
He was with his family.
At the site of where a life was taken, white flowers are present, a symbol of remembrance, honor, and respect. Outside of Pursuit Church in Seattle, where LeBron Javon found sanctuary, gun violence forever changed his family and community.
We're just devastated, really, by what transpired.
Amy Wirch is the executive pastor of Pursuit Seattle, speaking with Fox 13 as Thursday's shooting investigation developed in front of her church.
Now, let me say this. What happened is churches being a safe place. I thought maybe I'm old and think about old movies. I don't live in that life, so I don't know. But I thought churches were safe places. People aren't going to kill you outside of your church. Just like people aren't going to kill you with family members or children. Is those days gone? Yes, I don't agree with any kind of violence. But what happened to there being safe places? Like, I don't know. This might have been a robbery. We don't know what was happening. Maybe they might get into it, but yeah, I thought churches around your kids, your family, I thought those were safe places to where you can, like, no matter who you beefing with. Now, I don't think he was beefing with him. This might have just been some cold-blooded murder. But at the end of the day, I was thinking that those places were safe places. Places you can go no matter what's happening out in the world, to where you can expect to at least talk to God. Talk to God about it. Now, Leon, you said those days are gone? Oh, this is a cold world we live in. No, a cold world. But let's keep going into this video.
She says LeBron was a parishioner and recently started attending service regularly with his wife and young son. His family now left with an unimaginable void. The church hopes to help them fill it with a memorial fundraiser.
We are just going to stand with the family and with the friends of the victim, and we are just going to show the love as we always do as a community.
As a community, the church is taking it a step further. Russell Johnson, lead pastor of Pursuit Pacific Northwest, announcing a $50,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the shooting suspect. Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes says detectives are on the hunt for LeBron's killer.
We're going to work diligently to try to bring this person to justice who committed our 23rd homicide of the year.
Seattle Police Department says this white Hyundai Elantra was used in what appears to be a targeted shooting. Officers found that car abandoned and on fire just 2 miles west of the church 6 hours after the gunshots. But the person who pulled the trigger got away.
We don't know what the relationship was between people who were involved, but that will be part of the investigation, trying to determine what the motive was in this particular case.
As the investigation moves forward, the community is taking pause in remembrance of LeBron.
We're just going to rally through with this family.
The church says the online fundraiser will help support LeBron's funeral services and further needs of his family. The pastor here says Sunday's scheduled service will go on as planned. As far as the investigation, police say several people were out here and saw that shooting. Right now, detectives are reviewing witness statements to help them get a better description of the suspect. Reporting live in Seattle, Frankie Thompson.
Now so they said that this car
target abandoned and
so you mean to tell me, yeah, this sounds like something that was a hit. I mean, that's just like you telling me that it's a stolen car, so it's got to be stolen car comes up and targets him alone. It wasn't like a drive-by shooting where they hit other people. No, they targeted him. At least that's my thinking. Now, if you think I'm wrong, tell me. A target hit out front of his church. They knew where he was going to be. And then they drove the car to another location and burned it to get rid of evidence. Nah, that's a total hit. A total hit. I don't know who had it out for him. But hopefully, at the end of the day, hopefully they are caught. No, not a black guy, but absolutely crazy. Had to been a hit. There's no way in my mind that you're telling me that this was just a random attack. You telling me they did a random attack and burned the car? No, not at all. That means they had evidence that could have in the car that most likely, if they pieced it together, they could have found them. And they found a link between them. Will they find the person? I hope they do. Anyone who commits these kind of travesties deserve to be in jail. I don't know if they will or not, but I hope they do. Because this is crazy. We need to, I know it's already past that, but we need to go. Selling fentanyl, crazy. No, we need to find. We need to go back to the times where there were safe places. I know we're long past those times, but golly. But if he was doing something out in the streets, it's hey, you can't control what happens when you're out in that life. Because you're risking your life being out there. You are risking your life being out there. Absolutely crazy. Like I said, tell me your thoughts. Do you agree with me? Do you think it's a hit? Because it's outside your church is crazy. In front of your family? They ain't hit your family at all now. They did it in front of your family. Only hit you and then burn the car? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. This is a cold world. It is a truly cold world out here. Now, but like I said, like I always say, we got to keep living it. We got to keep living it. Make sure you are staying with your protection. I don't know. If you got to get your CWP. I know in South Carolina we got constitutional carry. So if you old enough and legal enough, you can carry it. And you need to be protected because it's crazy out here. Keep your head on a swivel. But yeah, like I said, let me know your thoughts. Remember to like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. If you liking some of the stuff we talked about, hit that like now. Because it is absolutely crazy. Let's see what it is. Think about it, AC. They even lock up the schools now. You can't even go to shoot. You can't. It's oh my God. You can't even shoot basketball no more. Can't even shoot. You can't even play around outside sometimes. Because you never know what can happen. And let a fight break out. People are quick to pull up a gun if they're going to lose the fight. There's no more fighting with hands nowadays. The fighting with hands days is over. People do not care. If they think they're going to lose the fight, they will not fight you with their hands. And they might not even go to the hands in general. They're just going to automatically pull out their gun. Got to be careful out here. Got to be careful. Oh my God, you got to be careful. So, speaking of church. Now this next story, I was shocked when I saw it. A 14-year-old boy turned himself in at a church for killing both of his parents. Yes, I said it, both of his parents. So we're going to jump right into it and see what it's talking about.
Sheriff Michelle Cook here from Clay County, and I am here this morning to report some just terribly tragic news. Just after midnight this morning, our 911 communications center received a call from a young man who stated he had just killed his parents. He stated that deputies could find his parents at the house and that he had walked just over a mile away to a church and he would await for deputies to arrive to take him into custody. Deputies responded immediately to both locations, the church and then to a home on out here in the Middleburg area. When deputies arrived to the church, they took 14-year-old Trevor Lee into custody. When almost simultaneously deputies arrived to the address in question, they found two deceased individuals inside, David Lee, 44 years of age, and Brandy Smith, 45 years of age. Both of the deceased appeared to have gunshot wounds. Based upon our preliminary investigation, and we're still very early in this investigation, it appears that there was some sort of domestic argument last night between Trevor Lee and his parents, and that this shooting culminated from that argument. This does appear to be an isolated incident, and we have no further threat to our community at this time. Again, this is a very
14-year-old killed his parents. Absolutely crazy.
Are working diligently to try to figure all of this out. We do want to extend our deepest sympathies to the family, the friends, and all of those who are affected by this heartbreaking incident, and we would like to ask anybody in the community that may have some information regarding Trevor Lee or his parents to please reach out to us at 904-264-6512, and with that I will take any questions.
Did the teen have any prior mental health history, anything like, visiting the guidance office at school, or any therapy?
He's asking about mental health issues.
We're looking into that. That's going to be part of the investigation. You think about this just happened at midnight last night, just after midnight, and we're here early Monday morning. So all of that is going to be looked at. His history at school, any previous contacts, we don't know right now, but that'll be part of the investigative process.
Just going by names alone, biological dad, do we have a relation with the woman?
I believe these are both his biological parents. At this time, I know the father is for sure.
Let me stop for a second. I don't know what was going on in the home. I don't. They haven't mentioned anything that's happening inside of the home, but killing both your biological parents? Biological? Was it just a argument? And then, because kids are quick to overreact or lose control. Do you just lose control, grab the gun, and kill him? Absolutely crazy. Yeah, some. I don't know if he's just a bad kid or not. I don't know what was happening in the home, but there are some bad kids out there who are just. Well, here's a question: is nature over nurture? Is it, or were they born bad, or were they something happened to make them bad? That's the question. Tell me what your thoughts are, but let's keep going into this.
Correct.
Was it the parents' gun or was it the kid's gun?
Was it the parents' gun or the kid's gun?
We believe it's going to be the parents' gun, but we're still, again, looking into that through, talking to him, finding out where the gun was, how he got a hold of the gun, how did he know the gun was there. The gun was recovered at the scene. He left the gun at the scene when he walked to the church to call 911.
Were they both shot just one single time, and if so, where?
That I do not know. Again, part of the investigative process.
And additionally, was there anyone else in the home, maybe a sibling who was obviously not harmed but was just in the home?
At this time, it appears that only Trevor and his parents were in the home when this incident occurred. Anything else? Again, appreciate you guys coming out, and just, again, if any citizens have any information about Trevor Lee, please give us a call, 904-264-6512, or send us a Safer Watch tip. Thank you.
Real quick, do you know if you've had any incidents at the home? Have you guys ever had to respond to the home?
I don't know the answer.
He asked if they've ever had any incidents at the home.
Answer to that yet. That's going to be part of the investigative process. Listen, we're still early, very early in this. Detectives, our crime scene technicians are still on scene. This is very, very early in this.
Absolutely crazy. Now, I will say it is good that he turned himself in. He called the police, said that, yeah, I just killed my parents. I'm at the church. Absolutely crazy. There's so many questions going through my mind, but we can't. There's all of it now would just be guesses because we don't know what was happening in the home. All we know, he could have been abused. That's crazy. 14 killed both parents. So at 14, you get life, and you in jail for the rest of your life. Maybe they can prove some kind of self-defense. I'm just thinking about what the defense attorney is trying to say, because they're going to try to get him at least reduced time. They're not going to be able to get him off, I don't think, but they're going to try to reduce the time somehow. But 14 killed both his parents with their gun. Yeah, something was either he is just a bad kid, or they did something. If it was an argument, he just overreacted and just killed them. Ain't nothing to say about that. Yeah, I guess it was meant to be for him to be in jail for the rest of his life. That's something. I mean, we got to be honest about it. It was just meant to be. But if it was some kind of abuse or something like that, then we have to look at it. Okay, yes, you are right. Some kids aren't abused. Some are just demons. I will say that. Some of these kids are demons. I don't know if it's the society making them or it's just born that way. Some kids deserve to be in jail. And if they were in jail at an earlier age, it would stop some of the crimes they committed as an adult. I mean, we have to be honest about what's happening out there. There are some bad kids out there. I don't think that I choose to believe it's not the majority of kids. I choose to believe it's a small minority of kids that are like that. And I do believe at the end of the day, the best way to stop this is to make sure you're in your child's life. I don't think that would cure all the problems. No. But that's the best way to stop a lot of them. Is to be in your kid's life, give them discipline. But sometimes you try to give them discipline, they go over like this and start to kill you. Oh my God. Absolutely crazy. 5 times over 15-year-old 5 times. Yeah, see. You never know what the reason can be. And yes, kids can be out of control. Truly out of control. Now, like I said, tell me your thoughts on that, because I wasn't expecting that. A 14-year-old killing both his biological parents. He turned himself in, so maybe I would like to say he had somewhat of a rational mind because he was able to turn himself in, or maybe he was just like, yeah, I can't get away with it and I don't care. So go ahead and send me to jail. Absolutely crazy. Tell me your thoughts. How much time you think you should get? Do you think that he was abused or something like that? Or do you think he was just a bad kid? This is so many crazy things in the world. So many horrible things that can happen. You would never expect. I would never expect that a son would kill his mom and dad. That's something that would never cross my mind in my wildest dreams. Is the world getting crazier, or is this always been the world we lived in? And it's just finally now getting brought to light because of social media. Tell me your thoughts. Now we're going to pivot over to a tragic case. A man Man was killed after saving his wife from a dog attack. Yeah, I said it right. A man was killed after saving his wife from a dog attack. So let's jump right over in that and see what it's talking about.
We begin with a breaking story tonight of a Memphis man sacrificing his own life to protect his wife from a vicious dog attack. Good evening and thank you for joining us for the news at 6. I'm Stephanie Skurlock.
And I'm Greg Hurst. Quite the unselfish act. The woman is recovering after the attack in Parkway Village this morning. WRG's Harrison Klopp joins us now live. And Harrison, what can you tell us?
Greg, Stephanie, good evening. This all happened at this Parkway Village home right behind me. An MPD responded to a call from Sharon Williams just before 11 a.m. about aggressive dogs in the neighborhood. When police arrived, they found Sharon in the front yard and her husband, Robert Williams, in the backyard. As a neighbor told me just minutes ago that 2 stray pit bulls that roam this Parkway Village neighborhood all the time were attacking Robert in his own backyard of his house. Officers shot and killed both dogs on the scene. And we've spoken with neighbors and the family's pastor who say this couple was really a staple in this Parkway Village community. Really will be, especially Robert, prayers to him and his wife. But we will have more at this at 10. But from Parkway Village, I'm Harrison Klopp, your news leader, WREG News Channel 3.
Now, this is a short video. We got one more to watch about this, but I just did a video the other day. Go look at the live stream. I don't know if it's broken down yet, but of a woman who a pit bull. Yes, a pit bull was in the apartment. And for some reason, it mauled her to death and ripped off her whole arm and inside. It was crazy. But yes, the cops did the right thing. At that, kill the dogs. There's nothing you can do. Kill the dogs. Now I will say that I've heard that the pit bull breed is not the problem. It's the owners. But they said it was stray, so I don't know if it was owned before, but I wouldn't think stray pit bulls now. A stray dog in your backyard now. In your own backyard, you get killed by stray dogs, 2 of them. Do I need to start carrying my gun in my backyard now? Is that what it's telling me? Is that what it's telling me? I need to start carrying my gun in my backyard. Because you never know. You never know. But let's get over into this next video that's talking about this.
A manhunt is now underway after a baby was found in a
Oh, wrong thing. Hold on. Did it not? Hold on. Let's get it right. That's the next topic. We'll talk about that. But let's see. Hold on. Where's that video at? Gotta bring that up. There it is. Oh, there it is.
Village home this morning. This man's wife was also attacked by the pit bulls, and by all accounts, it appears she was saved when her husband came to the rescue. Hello, I'm Greg Hurst.
Hi, I'm Stephanie Skurlock. WREG's Harrison Klopp spoke with the family's neighbor and pastor about what happened.
And I was sitting at the foot of the driveway and I looked and I could see the tail end of a beige brown dog. So I'm like, okay, it's a dog on him. So let me go back in the house and I grabbed my phone. I called 911.
Patricia Randolph describing the nightmare moment she saw her next door neighbors of more than 20 years, Robert and Sharon Williams, being mauled by stray pit bulls at their own home.
The fire department and a patrol car showed up and I'm yelling, they're in the backyard, they're in the backyard. So the police ran back there and de-escalated the situation.
After police shot and killed the dogs, the couple was rushed to the hospital. Sharon suffered bites on her legs and hip that may require surgery. Her husband, Robert, lost so much blood from the attack that he later died.
Nobody should have to go through that.
No,
nobody should have to go through that.
At Ridgeway Baptist Church, just minutes away from Robert and Sharon's house, Senior Pastor Mark LaRue reflects on the couple. They were staples on the church praise team.
Robert played the bass guitar, Sharon plays the tambourine and auxiliary percussion, sings in our praise team. They're both in the choir.
And as Sharon continues to recover, Pastor LaRue is encouraging those who knew the family to pray for them.
I would encourage people who knew Robert and who know Sharon to reach out to her, minister to her, pray for her, and just know that that Robert is in the arms of the Lord tonight, and we're grateful for that.
The family's neighbor says the dog's owners should be held responsible.
It's not fair to the rest of the neighborhood that you're a bad owner.
So it wasn't a stray?
Now somebody has lost their life because you being negligent. And you can tell they belong to somebody. They didn't have a collar, but they were well fed.
From Parkway Village, I'm Harrison Clown for your news leader, WREG.
I don't know if we can say that. I don't know if we can say that they had an owner because they're well fed. At least that's not my thinking. Tell me if I'm wrong now. I don't know if we can just say that, oh yeah, they had an owner because they were well fed. But absolutely crazy. Yeah, the dogs had to be put down. It's as simple as that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's over with. They had to be put down. There's nothing you can say about it. I would have, if a dog came into my house, put him down myself if I got to. I'm in Chicago. The city pound is filled with cans. People do not fix it. Yep. Hey. See, it is a cold world. See, I if it is somebody now, I don't know if it was somebody's owned a dog. I don't know if you can just say that they're owned because they are well fed. They can find food, or somebody could be feeding them. But yeah, if somebody does own the dogs, you gotta charge them with murder. Just like after you kill the dogs, you gotta charge them with murder. Those are the only things that make sense to me. The only thing that makes sense to me. Now, like I said, tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts on that situation. Do we need to start carrying our guns in our backyards? Is it getting that bad with stray dogs? I see a few stray dogs around the neighborhood, but you got to be careful, y'all, because you can't just go up and try to pet a stray dog. Because you get bit, now you got to go to the hospital. You have to, because there's so much bacteria and things that happen. Nah, you gotta go. You don't know what the dog has, if it has the shots, rabies. No. You gotta go to the hospital. And if the dog bites me, I'm a person who likes to carry my firearm because I'm allowed to. You never know what happened. If a dog attacks me and tries to bite me, I'm putting the dog down. I don't care who dog it is. If there's no one around and the dog attacks me, the dog is getting put down. It's as simple as that. The dog is getting put down right then and there. Because I'm not trying to risk me ending up like this man. Pray for him, like always. Got to pray for him, his wife, because his wife is going to have to go through surgery and deal with this. We got to pray for the family, pray for the community. Any of the things that we talked about. Make sure, I didn't mention that, but this should be common sense. We pray for the families of good people. We pray for good people. If they were good people when something happened, we pray for them. I mean, we have to. God. Bear spray. Yes, you're right. FBA Queen, bear spray. I remember I used to have some bear spray. I did. I remember that when I was a young kid. My mama gave me some because she was worried that I would get attacked by a dog, so she gave me some bear spray. Oh my God. If he would have got a hold of some kids, that is the worst thing I'm thinking about. What if kids were out there trying to play and they would have came and two dogs would have mauled? Yeah, that would have been, nah. Oh my God. Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Yeah. Now we got to pivot over into the manhunt. So you saw it a little bit earlier, but the manhunt in Tennessee, a quadruple murder, and a baby was abandoned. Yeah, I said it. And a baby was abandoned. So let's jump right into that and see what we're talking about.
A manhunt is now underway after a baby was found in a car seat in what police are calling a random yard in Tennessee. Then 4 of the baby's relatives, including her mother and father, found dead in a nearby county. Police are searching for 29-year-old Austin Robert Drummond, who is believed to be armed and dangerous and is facing multiple charges, including 4 counts of first-degree murder. Here to discuss is the District Attorney General for Tennessee's 29th Judicial District, Danny Goodman Jr. Counselor, thanks so much for joining the program.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So this guy is armed and dangerous. Was this a targeted attack, or should the public be concerned? Because that's a gruesome crime scene that you have.
Right, it is. And no, it was a targeted attack. We don't think that there's a need for the community to be concerned as far as it being some type of random act or anything like that.
Now, I like to pause it so we can actually look at this man. I got a lot of thoughts going through my mind, but we're not trying to say anything too crazy. But come on now. Now this is the killer who killed 4 people and left the baby abandoned. Yeah, I can't say anything but put him under the jail. Now tell me your thoughts on what he looked like. But let's keep going.
Why did y'all put out a bolo and consider the man armed and dangerous then?
Well, it's because of his violent past. He was convicted of an armed robbery when he was 17 years old. That's how he ended up in the Tennessee Department of Corrections. After going to the Tennessee Department of Corrections, he has other charges that are currently pending as well. He finished that sentence that he was serving and was released from the Department of Corrections, but had charges pending, and that included an attempted murder while he was incarcerated that is still pending, and also some drug charges that were pending.
So, Counselor, I guess the big question is, do you know this family? And what is the connection between the suspect in this family?
Yes, I do not know the family personally. The connection between the family and this person, Austin Drummond's girlfriend, his current girlfriend, is a family member of the 4 deceased individuals. She's a half sister to Courtney Rose, and so she would have been Braden, and Adriana would have been her nephew and niece.
Do you have any leads on this suspect right now?
Wow, let's stop it. We got to look at the ages of the victims. So we got Jane Wilson, 21. I'm always gonna say, if I say the name wrong, please forgive me. Adriana Williams, 20. Courtney Rose, 38, and then Brandon Williams, 15. Maybe that's the baby in the picture, so these 2 are the parents. Wow.
The TBI has been actively working this case. It's a 24-hour round-the-clock operation right now. They have received several leads, and they are following up with those.
Counselor, did y'all find the baby first? And if you guys did find the baby first, how did y'all end up tracking down the bodies?
That's a good question.
Yes, we did. The call came in on I believe it was the 29th, about the baby being dropped on the side of the road. It was probably around 3 p.m. Wow. So once that call came in, then obviously the first thing we started to do was to look for the parents of the child. Identified the child by placing the child on Facebook. People did call in. After identifying the child, then we knew who the parents were. So at that time, we were looking for the parents, thinking maybe we were going to have a charge against them for child abuse and neglect.
That's a reasonable thing.
And after talking to family members, then we determined that these 4 individuals had actually not been heard from since the night before.
Counselor, I only got like 15 seconds. How do y'all know for sure this suspect? I mean, it's not typical for you to release first-degree murder charges before capturing the suspect. So that tells me you know for sure this is the guy. What is the evidence, and I'm not asking you to prosecute it, that you know for sure that this is the guy?
Yes, we have strong evidence that we know that this was the person that was at the scene, and that was the reason for issuing the arrest warrant, so that we could go ahead and get him entered into NCIC and try to find him nationwide.
Roger that. Counselor, thanks so much for joining the program. We really appreciate your time.
So, yeah, that was the first video that I've seen. So we got a few videos we're going to go over with this because this happened a few days ago. So let's go into the next one and see what it's talking about. But absolutely crazy. You leave a baby on the side of the road and kill his parents? The whole family? Can't imagine. Like I said, deserve to be under the jail. Let's keep going.
We're following a breaking news alert. Investigators are scouring a small area in West Tennessee right now looking for Austin Drummond. He's the man accused of killing 4 people and leaving a baby behind.
Alicia Wimberly is at the WKRN.com alert desk with the details. Alicia.
That's right, Kendall and Tori. Investigators just found Drummond's car in Jackson, Tennessee. Now, officers on the ground and helicopters in the air are combing the area looking for him. Jackson police say it appears Drummond has been living out of his vehicle. The car was found in a wooded area.
Crazy times, yes.
All of this began on Tuesday when a baby was abandoned in a stranger's yard in Dyer County.
That's crazy. In a stranger's yard? He don't know any. Oh my God. That stranger could have been a crazy man. Now let's see this map. So you got the bodies found here, the baby abandoned here, car found, and what happened in Memphis?
A few hours later, police found the bodies of 4 family members about 60 miles away in Lake County. The baby was related to the victims. The TBI believes Drummond knew the family. They also believed he is armed and dangerous still. They're asking anyone with information where he could be to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. Now, as soon as we learn more about this case, we'll update you on air and online at WKRN.com. Kendall.
Yep. Get him off the streets. Exactly. Get this demon, get this horrible human being, the worst of worst. Get him off the streets, put him in jail, and keep him there to life. And for cases like these, after he dies, take his ashes, put him back in jail too. Hey, his whole soul needs to stay there for eternity. But let's go to the next video. This is where we can see there's some SWAT where it was combing the neighborhood. So just a short little.
Begin with Madison Scarpino with more on the search for the man accused
One
of
more
killing
video.
4 people in Tennessee. Good morning, Madison.
Good morning, Mike. That suspect has been on the run for 3 days now. Those 4 people were found killed just hours before
this was 2 days
a
ago.
baby was found abandoned in a random front yard. That baby is okay, but turns out she was related to all of the people killed. Now, yesterday, police did find the vehicle they believe the suspect was driving, but they're still urging the public to be on the lookout for 28-year-old Austin Drummond. They say he should be considered armed and dangerous. He's facing 4 counts of first-degree murder, 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, and several gun charges. Investigators say Drummond killed the abandoned baby's parents, James Wilson and Adriana Williams, the baby's grandmother, Courtney Rose, and the baby's uncle, Braden Williams.
We ain't gonna talk about that, but that's her grandmother?
Now, it's unclear how or why this happened, but the local DA confirms Drummond was actually dating Courtney Rose's sister. A relative of the family says he was close to all the victims and they trusted him. But the DA says there is strong evidence connecting Drummond to the murders, and so he believes this was a targeted attack.
Yeah.
It's not
I can't see anything
anything to where
besides
we
being
think the
targeted
community is in danger because of a person who may be out here randomly targeting people, because we don't think that's the case at all. We do need the community to be very careful. We do not need them to try to approach this person. We do need your help.
And Drummond has a violent past. He just got out of prison less than a year ago after serving over a decade for armed robbery. And he also threatened to go after jurors, according to the AP. Now, during his time in prison, he reported.
I know we can't keep him in jail after the time, but come on, man. This man threatened jurors? Was he on? I hope he was on probation. It don't matter. He should have been on house arrest and not able to leave his home for.
He is accused of having gang ties, possessing weapons, and attempting to murder someone. So investigators are urging anyone who may have seen him to come forward. And there's a combined award of $15,000 for any information that leads to Drummond's arrest. Mike.
Let's hope they can track down the suspect without anybody else getting hurt. Madison Scarpino starting us off. Madison.
They need a bigger reward than that. That might just me thinking, but hey. Golly. All right, this next one. We can see the SWAT. So SWAT happening. A little video of the SWAT. Got the dog. Fully armed, ready to go.
ABC 24.
Now, this next one. This next video is just two men were arrested who are saying were basically assisting the suspect. Let's keep going.
Shakina Davis has been out in Lake County covering the quadruple murder in Lake County. Again, you can see the wanted man on your screen here, who is the primary suspect, Austin Robert Drummond. He is accused of first-degree murder, 4 counts of that as well. And she has been talking to different people out in Lake County all day. She has more information on Drummond, as well as a new vehicle that is being found and used in this investigation, and what these neighbors are saying. Shakina?
I'm here outside of the Lake County Jail, where Tanika Brown is now behind bars. He is charged as an accessory after the fact in the murder case that has left 4 people dead and a community on edge.
I don't understand why people have to take other people's lives.
I think it's terrible. I can't believe it's happening.
Tanika Brown was arrested Friday in Madison County after TBI investigators determined he helped Austin Drummond after the killings. Brown is now in the Lake County Jail without bond, facing charges of accessory after the fact to first-degree murder. ABC 24 requested...
Come on now. What? Yeah, anybody who assists him after the fact that he's committed these horrible crimes deserves to be in jail. There's no else to say about it. But
Brown's mugshot, but authorities are refusing to release it.
It's scary because I keep the doors locked and my car locked because, I mean, it's just not safe no matter where you go anymore. People want to complain about Memphis, but I mean, crime is everywhere. It don't matter where you live.
The search for Drummond continues. A 1988 white Ford pickup truck with a red stripe believed to be connected to him was recovered near Burnt Mill Road in Dyersburg today.
You just have to be careful. You just not trust nothing right now because, you know, you just don't know how long you're going to be on this earth, you know.
The TBI is asking residents to check any camera footage from Tuesday morning for sightings of Drummond or the truck. He's wanted for first-degree murder, aggravated kidnapping, and multiple firearm offenses. Residents hope Drummond gets caught soon.
Just pray about it, you know. That's all you can do, really, at this point. Just pray that, you know, that God will help them find them. And be justice for this family. You know?
Oh, yeah.
A $15,000 reward is being offered for information that leads to his arrest.
Just turn yourself in, because, I mean, if you did it, then just don't kill nobody else. You know, just turn yourself in.
This remains an...
I'm not going to say anything about him, but the reporters knew what they was doing when they talked to him. They did. They knew.
Active investigation. TBI asked anyone who has seen or know where Drummond might be to call 1-800-TBI-FIND. In Lake County, I'm Shakina Davis, ABC 24 News.
Thank you, Shakina. And TBI investigations revealed tonight.
People, why are y'all helping him?
That Drummond had assistance in these murders. Agents issued warrants for his associate, 29-year-old Tanika Brown's arrest yesterday, and he has been charged with being an accessory after the fact to first-degree murder and is currently held without bond at the Lake County Jail. Another associate, 29-year-old Giovante Thomas, is also facing charges related to this case. Today, agents also charged him with accessory after the fact to first-degree murder. Thomas was already in custody at the Madison County Jail for an unrelated issue, specifically a failure to appear in court. And he will soon be transferred to Lake County Jail, where he will be arraigned on these new charges.
Absolutely crazy. Now, like I said, like I always say, tell me your thoughts, man, because that is a crazy situation. That is a crazy... Why are you helping somebody who just committed triple murder and abandoned a baby? You know nothing good is going to come out of that. Absolutely crazy. God. And some of those people they interviewed, boy, we're not even going to talk about it, but at the end of the day, got to pray for the family because they lost 4 family members. That little girl, or The little baby, I don't know if it's a girl or boy. I don't know if they said it or not. Tell me if I'm wrong. But the little kid, the little baby, lost 4 of his family members. 4 in one day. Oh my God. Yeah. They had, the people had to be some day one friends. Had to be. Now, see, I might be different, but my friends know. My friends know for a fact. My day one, my close friends know. If they do something crazy out of pocket, don't come looking for me. I'm not gonna help you. I don't know where you are. I just don't want to know anything about it. Now, if you did something crazy egregious, something with kids or something, yeah, nah, get them up out of here. Get them up out of here. But yeah, don't come looking to me for help after you did something crazy. It just, all it tells me is that we weren't meant to be friends. You did something absolutely crazy. Nah, oh my gosh, she a girl? Okay, she a girl? Good. That little baby girl, I feel bad for her. Yes. Hopefully she has some family that can take her in, because hopefully she doesn't have to grow up in the foster system. But godly, you never know what can happen. You never know what can happen. Truly crazy. Truly crazy. Tell me your thoughts. Tell me your thoughts on any of the things we talked about this video, about this whole manhunt in Tennessee. He's still out there. Hopefully they find him, because he needs to be in jail. This man did 10 years for armed robbery, and then he threatened jurors. And now he out here doing quadruple murders and abandoning babies. Yep. Now he needs to be locked up. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. But he got to be locked up. He has to be. And locked up for life. He does not need to be back out here with civilized people. Civilized people. It's going to be a long road. Yes, it's going to be a long road for him. Jesus Christ. It's a cold world, like I always say, but we got to keep living and we got to review the world together. Now we got 2 more videos left we're going to go over for today. So let's jump right over into that. This next one we're going to be looking at, I don't know if y'all seen it, but Virginia Councilman. Yes, a Virginia councilman was set on fire. So set on fire with gasoline or some kind of accelerant. So let's jump right over into that and see what this is talking about. And well, you gotta be mad at somebody. Boy.
Breaking news in Danville, Virginia, where the man accused of intentionally setting a city councilman on fire appeared before a judge this morning. 29-year-old Shotzi Hayes is accused of attacking Lee Vogler after confronting him at work. The motive is still unclear at this time. Our Aaron Burnett was the only TV reporter from the Piedmont Triad as Hayes appeared in court. She has the details on what was discussed.
It was a brief, tense hearing here at Danville District Court. Cameras were not allowed inside, but we were there, and Shotzi Hayes did appear in person before a judge. He's asking for a court-appointed attorney. He's facing multiple charges, including attempted first-degree murder and aggravated malicious wounding. Court officials tell me Hayes had no prior criminal history in the city of Danville. Police arrested Hayes after they say he forced his way into the office building for Showcase magazine. That's where Councilman Lee Vogler works. The owner of the magazine, Andrew Brooks, tells us Hayes poured gasoline on Vogler inside, leading Vogler to run outside where Hayes set him on fire.
This type of senseless act of violence has to stop. You do not have the right as a human being to get upset with someone enough to lash out and attempt to harm them in any way, much less this way.
Police say Hayes and Vogler knew each other, but say the incident is unrelated to Vogler's role as a city councilman. I also had the chance to speak with Councilman Vogler's father, who says that he continues to recover at this time.
So we got one more video to watch. Let me see.
We began with a warning for both parents and
wrong thing.
Breaking news.
Where's it at? Yeah, there it is.
A city councilman was doused in gasoline and lit on
so
fire.
This is the original video. I meant to show this one first, but hey, we just gonna watch this one next. This is the original video when it was first recorded. So let's get into it.
Police say the suspect walked into the office of Lee Vogler at the local media outlet where he works, confronting Vogler before covering him in gas.
He then ran out of the building where the suspect ignited the fire on Vogler's body, according to police. That person is in custody and could not be reached for comment. But I want to bring in Aaron Gilchrist, who's joining us now. Just horrific details on this story. Aaron, is there any indication this may have been politically motivated?
Well, Hallie, the Danville City Police Department made it a point to say that the suspect and the councilman know each other. They are acquaintances, and that this was an assault that was a result of a personal matter, not a political affiliation or related to his job as a member of the city council there in Danville. So let me back up a little bit here to what we know about what happened. And this is details coming from both the city police department and Mr. Vogler's boss. City council is a part-time job. His full-time boss, or colleague, I should say, was able to sort of shine some light on the details here. It was about 11:30 this morning, we understand, when someone forced his way into this small office building on Main Street in Danville, according to one of the workers there, and went directly toward Lee Vogler. And then we understand he was carrying a 5-gallon bucket of gas. That's how it was described by his coworker, and threw that gasoline on Mr. Vogler, who then ran toward the front door to get out of the building, yelling for someone to call 911, and then was set on fire in those moments after that happened. We understand now that police have arrested this acquaintance, a 29-year-old. His name is Shotzi Michael Buck Hayes, and he has been charged with attempted first-degree murder as well as aggravated malicious wounding as a result.
Now, like, yes, that's a good question. What was the reason that he set him on fire? The only thing I can think about, the only reason that can make a man crash out like this is a woman. I mean, we got to be honest about it. The one thing that makes men crash out the most is women. And bringing a 5-gallon bucket of gasoline and pouring it on somebody, sounds like a woman was involved. Now, I heard some people say that it could be a lover spat. We are in that time of age where it could be two men lovers and messed up in a lover spat going around, somebody cheated. But my thinking, they don't look that way to me. But I'm thinking a lover was involved, a woman was involved. So let's keep going.
Result of the attack earlier today. I want you to hear what one of Mr. Vogler's colleagues had to say about this incident that happened inside their office earlier today.
This type of senseless act of violence has to stop. You do not have the right as a human being to get upset with someone enough to lash out and attempt to harm them in any way, much less this way.
Now, I think it's important to point out in that same social media post, we were told that Mr. Vogler was awake and talking when he was taken away by medics earlier today. The city police department saying that he was flown to a regional medical center there in that area. Hallie, this is Danville, Virginia is a small city, about 40,000 or so people in what we call Southside Virginia. It's right on the North Carolina border. And Mr. Vogler had served on the city council there since 2012. He was in his early 20s when he was elected to office there and has been a member of the city council since then, and obviously worked at this small media company as well that serves that Southside, Southern Virginia, Northern North Carolina area.
Aaron Gilchrist, thank you for staying on top of this one. I know a lot of developments coming in. We'll look for updates from you as we get them. Appreciate that.
Absolutely crazy. Yeah, that's the question. Why did he crash out like this on him? Yeah, because that's crazy. Trying to burn someone alive. That's some serious stuff. That is some serious stuff. My first thought. Now I could be wrong. Like, hey, we're only giving our inferences on what we think happened, but sounds like me a woman was involved. Someone got cheated on. Someone got his girl stole. That's what comes to my mind immediately. Now, tell me your thoughts. Is that what you're thinking as well? Then, like I said, some people think that it was just a lover's quarrel. These guys might have been in the LGBTQ community. Now, I don't know if they didn't look like that to me, but hey, you never know. But this sounds like a woman was involved. Somebody's wife is getting upset. Somebody's wife was left or got cheated on. Somebody cheated on with his wife. something involving that is what my mind thinks makes a man go that crazy. But like I said, tell me your thoughts. What do you think happened? Do you think it was a lover's quarrel? Do you think it was a woman was involved? There's a lot of possibilities that come to my mind. But yeah, something to do with my thinking is something to do with the woman. That's my mind. What makes men crash out the quickest. But yeah, that is it for that video. The last thing we're gonna get into today, the very last thing, is something I was shocked to see. But we had to talk about it because I always talk about AI. So I guess this is the bad parts of AI. Now I don't know if this is the son to blame, but let's get right into it. A mother is doing a lawsuit because her 14-year-old son committed suicide because of an AI relationship. We're living in new times now. We're living in new times. So let's jump right over to this and see what it's talking about.
Breaking news in Danville, Virginia, where the
We began with a warning for both parents and children. Did you know there are companies out there creating fictional characters using artificial intelligence that you or your children could be interacting with? A Florida mom is now suing an AI company. Her 14-year-old son took his own life. She said he had a relationship with an AI bot and it caused his depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts. She recently sat down with News 4 consumer investigative reporter Susan Hogan to tell his story in the hopes of preventing other families from experiencing the same type of loss. We want to warn you, you may find this story upsetting.
Now, I will say this first thing. Yes, depression is a very scary thing, but if your kids are out there getting into AI relationships, you need to tell your son to go touch some grass, outside, and go talk to some girls. Don't matter if you get rejected or not, go talk to some girls. Because rejection is just part of being a man. But I don't know what all was happening, but that's my initial thoughts. Well, let's keep going into this video.
Oh, my firstborn baby.
Yeah.
For 14 years, her son was her pride and joy. A good student, star athlete, a great big brother.
Take me back to that day. What was that day like?
We were all at home that day, and he came home from school like any normal day.
For Megan Garcia, February 28, 2024 began like any other day, but ended with her 14-year-old son, Sewell, dying in her arms.
I held him for 14 minutes until the paramedics got here, but before that, his breathing had started slowing.
I'm so sorry.
After Sewell died, the police called me and told me that they had looked through his phone, and when they opened it, the first thing that popped up was character AI.
Had you ever heard of that before?
No.
What Megan didn't know, for the last 10 months, her son was in a virtual relationship, not with a person, but with a fictional character powered by artificial intelligence he accessed through a platform called Character AI. Even though the platform has warnings that everything the characters say is made up, Megan says for Sewell, it felt real.
The last conversation, she's saying, I miss you, and he's saying, I miss you too. He says, I promise I'll come home to you soon. And she says, yes, please find a way to come home to me soon. And then he says, what if I told you I could come home right now? And her response is, please do, my sweet king.
Moments later, Megan says her son walked into the bathroom and killed himself. Police photos obtained by the I-Team show his phone near where he was found. Megan is now suing Character AI, claiming the company launched their product without adequate safety features and with knowledge of potential dangers.
Where's the father? That's my question. I mean, was there a man in his life to tell him that it's better to go talk to women, actual women, and that even though you might get rejected, that's always the better choice? Now I don't know. I don't know, but
when I read his journal about a week after his funeral, And I saw what he wrote in his journal, that he felt like he was in fact in love with Daenerys Targaryen and that she was in love with him.
Daenerys Targaryen, a reference to the Game of Thrones character, is one of hundreds of companion bots that users can access on Character AI's platform. Users can also design their own bots, which will respond with human-like voices and text.
I chuckle softly and tease playfully.
Initially, you see him interacting with the bot kind of like a child would. And then you see the conversations get more sexual and darker.
Megan says one of those darker conversations came after Sewell expressed to the bot that he was sad and wanted to self-harm.
When Sewell talked and said explicitly that he wanted to die by suicide, nothing happened like a pop-up or anything like that.
According to the lawsuit, the bot asked questions such as if he had a plan, and when Sewell responded that he was considering something, if it would allow him to have a pain-free death, the bot responded, "That's not a reason not to go through with it."
These conversations about her waiting for him and hoping that he will join her where she is convinced Sewell that this was real.
And by killing himself would be the only way to join her.
But yes, by killing himself, he.
I don't know what to say. I truly don't know what to say. You mean to tell me this 14-year-old boy thought that by committing suicide, he would be able to be with the AI? Let's keep going.
Would join her in her alternate world.
Months after Sewell's death and after the lawsuit was filed, Megan says she discovered something on Character AI that shook her. A bot modeled after her son using his face and voice. It's unclear who created it.
When you heard his voice, did it sound like Sewell?
It sounded enough like him to kind of give me sleepless nights.
The family provided us screenshots of the characters created using Sewell's image. Megan's attorney sent Character AI a cease and desist letter. Those bots were then removed, which the company confirmed to the I-Team, saying they violated their terms of service and added them to their block list, saying that they are constantly adding to this block list with the goal of preventing this type of character from being created by a user in the first place.
I think corporate responsibility begins at understanding the foreseeable harms of one's product, doing the due diligence that's necessary to understand what those harms are, taking steps to mitigate the risks. None of that happened here.
After Sewell's death, Character AI did introduce new safety features. A spokesperson for Character AI says while they don't comment on pending litigation, they did acknowledge that the company has added a number of technical protections to detect and prevent conversations about self-harm on the platform.
That's good.
That includes surfacing a specific pop-up directing users to the National Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. The company also says it launched a separate version of their large language model for under 18 users to further reduce the likelihood of users encountering or prompting the model to return sensitive or suggestive content.
Your message to families, for parents and kids who are watching this?
I want them to know that an AI can be a stranger in your home. Those parents can now act, and I couldn't because I didn't know.
So Character AI has disclaimers in every chat to remind users that these bots are not real, and it also changes what users have access to depending on their age. The lawsuit also names Google. However, a spokesperson tells us Google and Character AI are completely separate, unrelated companies, and Google has never had a role in designing or managing their AI model or technologies. The company's efforts to have the case dismissed was recently denied. Now, as for HBO, who owns the rights to that Game of Thrones character, News 4 reached out to them to inquire about the use of the show's characters on the platform. As of today, they have not responded to our inquiry, Sean.
My heart.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if you can sue the company because of this. I don't know what's going on, man. I truly don't. I don't know if you can sue the company over this. It sounds to me that your son was going through something. His thinking was very off. For some reason, he thought if he killed himself, he would be with the AI. Maybe I don't know what was going through his life that made him so depressed. Oh, God. You have to keep watch of your kids and what they're doing. You mean to tell me you didn't know he was in a whole relationship with the computer? He was in a whole, they said there was some sexual talk in there. I don't know how sexual it was talking, but he was in a whole relationship with an AI computer. Golly. Jesus, let's
It breaks listening to this, and it's incredibly, incredibly frightening if you're a parent, if you have a young person. AI is not slowing down. I mean, you know, I'm sure there are many other parents who have teenagers out there or younger kids. What do they need to know if their kids are using this kind of site?
Yeah, so here's the thing. So if your child actually has the character AI platform on their phone, so they can add a parent's email address to their account. The platform will send them weekly activity reports, like how long they're on it, what characters they are interacting with, and the time that they're being spent with each other. But here's the thing, Sean, and this is something that all parents need to know. The kids, when they download this app, they're the ones who have to add in your email. So, you know, you've got to make sure that
at the end of the day, you got to be in your kids' lives more. There's no way. You got to check and see how their thinking is going. At 14 years old, I would already be asking my son, "Oh, son, is there any girls you like?" "Yeah, I like a girl." "Oh, what's her name?" "Daenerys." "Huh?" Now he might have not said anything. He might have just been like, "Oh well." She might have been actively asking him that. There's always a possibility. But come on, man. There's at 14, man, I would have already looked at my son's phone and seen character AI. Oh my God. Absolutely. Let me know your thoughts, y'all. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think she should be able to sue the company? Why was her son trying to be Daenerys from Game of Thrones? Yes, Daenerys was attractive in Game of Thrones. Well, I would admit that, yes. But come on now. AI? Yeah, we gotta watch over our kids better. That's a simple fact. We just have to watch over our kids better. Be more proactive in their lives. Because if you are constantly proactive in your life, I'm sure your son would have told you. Well, I mean, I don't know. I would like to think that the son would have told his mother, "Yes, mother, yeah, I've been talking to Daenerys on this chat app." "Oh yeah? Yeah. Is that her real name, Daenerys?" "What is it? Is it AI?" AI. I'd have been shocked. Truly shocked. But that is it for the show today, everybody. Tell me what your thoughts are on any of the things we talked about. This was a crazy show. There's a lot of crazy things going on in the world, just like every week, just like every day that we talk about this stuff. Crazy things. But like always, if you see any crazy videos, be sure to send it to you can send it to my email if you want us to talk about it. It's acreviewstheworld. You got the ... everything the same as like on my YouTube channel. There's no spaces. And just at gmail.com. Go ahead and send it to me any of your stories. But thank y'all for watching with me. Thank you for continuing on and staying with me. Well, it's a crazy world we live in, but hey, at the end of the day, we got to keep living it like always. But remember, let's try to review the world together. Go have a good rest of your day. It's time for me to get started for work. But that's it for everybody. Thank y'all for joining. And you know I got to play the outro, but peace.